which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the Moines County Board of Supervisors meeting, November the 18th, 2025. Is there any changes to the agenda?
I have none.
I have none.
I have none.
Moving on, we shall department heads, elected officials. Sarah Doty, County Auditor.
Good morning. Just keeping busy as usual. I'm leaving for a conference tomorrow, so I'll be gone the rest of the week in Des Moines, and just keeping busy. Nothing new to report at this time.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Brandon?
Just keep them busy, nothing to report.
IT's good, that's a good thing. Yep. Sheriff, Glendenny.
Same story with us. Plenty going on, but really nothing new for the board. We had 95 this morning. A couple got out since then, so we're probably down to 93 right now, but we have 17 out of county. That number's remaining high, so doing what we can on that, but we've got plenty out there to deal with. So.
Thank you. Shannon, how's emergency management?
It's lovely. I have nothing exciting for the board today.
Wow. Jared Lasser, land use.
I'm afraid I'm gonna have to keep the pattern going here. I'm busy enough. Special report today.
Okay, Chris Lee, conservation.
You ever have one of those days where you feel like you're just killing it? Like yesterday was one of those days, man. We had a few of us got this memorial rock installed that we've been working on for a while. It's like this, we got a big donation from a memorial, a lady that died a while back, and so 3 of us put this 1,000-pound rock in place. And then we went and we burned a giant burn up a big hollow yesterday, and that went super well. And just like, man, we're killing it. And then today I have nothing but meetings from now until the end of the day. So, kind of binge and purge when you're in this role. But no, things are going good, and we're just kind of cruising along. We got a couple new events on the calendar. Our Nature Center staff is doing a trivia night. Don't ask me details because I just saw the flyer for it this morning. I knew they were going to do one, but so that's kind of coming up. It'll be a Starscape. Fun thing to do. Our naturalists used to work in Henry County, and they used to do these over there. And so, if anybody wants to get in on that, we'll take teams of 2 to 6, I believe it is. And then just some other kind of fun stuff coming up. I think they've got like a s'more thing or something. But anyways, go to our website or Facebook page. You'll find out all about it.
You say 3 of you handle that rock? Is that why you brought the 2 board members with you?
Yeah. Yep.
Terry, I didn't know
He
you
would
had
pick
that.
young ones, he wouldn't pick us old.
Okay, thank you. Natalie, how's the recorder's office?
Good morning. Just doing what we do in the recorder's office. Nothing new to share.
Okay. Rodney, how's the maintenance?
Good morning. We do have personal action on the agenda item today. So I wanted to introduce you to that person. So this is Zach Reynolds, who's our new lead maintenance guy. So I wanted to bring him in and introduce him to everybody. And glad to have him.
Welcome aboard, Zach.
Thank you.
Other than that, nothing new to report today.
Okay. Think we didn't miss anybody, did we?
Angie.
Yeah,
Oh, hey!
Angie?
Good morning. We've been really busy. Not a whole lot to share. I will say that this month our training is on lithium-ion batteries. And I recommend everybody look at the specs when they get lithium-ion batteries. We have them for everything. How you're storing them, how you're disposing of them, how you're charging them. It's very important, and the training is definitely eye-opening. So I'll make sure you guys get videos too.
That's great. I seen a thing on the web here a while back about where they come from. Some of them you're supposed to buy and some of them you shouldn't buy.
You don't want to buy cheap, which is really easy to do because they're expensive. But if you buy the cheap, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
Our landfill has fires every month, and sometimes they have weeks that it's every day of the week. So people are not disposing of them correctly. We've got 5 different places that you can go here that will collect them and dispose of them properly. So it's like I said, it's very eye-opening. Even after I started doing all the studying on it to put this together, I started realizing as a safety director, even I've screwed up. So, you've got to be cautious with them. They are a great device, but there's flaws.
if there's 5 places to dispose of those, it might not hurt to make that information a little more. I had no idea. And if it's easier to get away of or get rid of versus hard to get rid of, you're more likely to get rid of it properly.
Correctly, exactly. And you wanna make sure you're not putting them together, you know, throwing them in a bag together, but, Lowe's collects them, Menards collects them, the landfill, of course, collects them, the recycling center, the library, you take them to the front desk, the girls will take them individually and then tape them up and make sure they're handled correctly. I don't like that it's at the library. So there's definitely locations for people to dispose of them properly instead of, you know, just discarding them. And like I said, we use them in everything. They're in our robot vacuums, they're in our cell phones, they're in our watches, they're, you know, we have thousands of ways that we use them now. So it's something to think about.
And to piggyback off of her, we are bringing a battery, an EV battery, training to Des Moines County. When federal funding gets straightened out, it's been approved, we're just waiting. So, that will be coming to Des Moines County and we'll have 3 rounds of that course.
The EV batteries burn at 6,000 degrees, so you don't put them out. They just have to let them burn. So you hope they're not around, like in someone's garage, or around anything that will continue to burn. They do have fire blankets. They're not like the ones we have in our kitchens. They're specifically made that you can use to cover them. Smaller fire blankets for smaller items. Great big ones, though. Our fire department is actually working on some grants to get some big ones that will cover the vehicles. But it's got to where, you know, it started off, it was just a few things here and there. Now we have them in everything, so it's become a lot bigger situation. And like most things, you know, we fix one problem and create 10 more, so that's kind of how this worked out. And that's all I got, guys. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Carter, Secondary Roads.
Good morning. I'll use all their time. First things first, I want to recognize Scott Salisbury. He's gonna retire from our department. He won't be, I don't believe, formally gone until the end of the year, but today is, I think, his second to last day. And we had a little get together in our shop this morning. He didn't want anything, and he wouldn't be happy if I was mentioning it. But he's a Blade guy from out in the Danville area, and he's retiring. We already have his replacement. So just thank you to him for 19 years. Also want to mention, I've mentioned a couple times, we have a PCI, which is the DOT contractor for a lot of the dirt work on their interchange project around Mediapolis. They're wrapping up installation of a culvert for us in the bottoms. And then they are moving to, I want to say 90th Avenue, but up in the northeast corner of the county, but it's not in the bottoms, it's up in the flats, I guess is what I'll call it. They're gonna do another culvert there. All told, that's like almost 200 foot of culvert between those 2 culverts. So they're both 72-inch culverts, so it worked out well to put those culverts there. So that's going on, and we'll do road closure notices like we do. And then I'll jump right out of that into a road closure. We did notices, we communicated with landowners. I'm surprised Terry's here because normally landowners hang around and watch, but we are closing the road just past Terry's place today. It's a dead end road with quite a few people on the other side, so as you might imagine, that's we take that serious. That's a sensitive thing to do. So we appreciate everybody up there's cooperation and communication. We've delivered notices, we've sent emails, we've offered phone calls, we've done everything possible to try to make sure everybody knows, and we're gonna close that road from 10 to 12, and that will give our guys an opportunity to install the first 30 foot of pipe. It's almost a 90 foot pipe, or 75 to 80, something like that. So they're gonna get that in. I'll have our surveyor there. He's gonna be there to give them elevations, so that all they're doing is digging and getting the culvert in, and we'll get that backfilled. And then we'll get that road open back up. That our crew will still have plenty of work to do. But that's going on this morning, and I want to give credit to our guys because they've done what they need to do. In between all of that, we've also gone up and done some patching and mix that into the mixed bag of everything they've done in the last 5 days or so. So, we have a very good shop and a very good crew doing that particular project. So, and we also, during something like that, we keep a loaded truck of rock on site so that if an emergency were to happen, we could literally just fill a hole and get an ambulance or something like that for, if worst case scenario.
If Terry can't get home for lunch, is that an emergency?
Terry can get home because it's past his house. I just figured he would be there on inspection. We need all the inspection we can get, and normally landowners are all over that, so, but. And we appreciate, Terry's been good to work with. This is yet another situation where I don't know why in the 60s they came along, they bought right away. They actually did a set of plans on this road, which where it's at, it's kind of Timbuktu-ish. I'm shocked at that they did that. And then they stuck a pipe in that was nowhere near on right away. So when we're all said and done, I'm gonna buy a little tiny piece of right away from Terry. He owns the side that we need that on, and get that culvert itself on the right away to do it the right way. So anyway, yeah, we're out there working, and that is something that is going on this morning. And I think the last thing I'll address, I guess. I wasn't gonna do it, but I talked to Jim yesterday. He thought I probably should, so I will. I appreciate that, Jim. Maybe I needed the nudge. We all know my thoughts about social media in general, and they're not positive. But I've been made aware that there's some, I'm gonna just call it misinformation floating around up in the Minneapolis area, so I'm gonna hit this topic real quick. So anybody that knows that project, obviously the bypass is open as we speak. That leaves a segment of old highway going through Minneapolis. To the south, it dead ends. To the north, if you know Minneapolis at all, it's what we call the school loop. There's a paved road that you can go north of Minneapolis on the old highway, and then there's a paved road that comes in from the north side of the school. And the plan has, from the beginning of time, been to connect the old highway, instead of having it be a dead end, connect the old highway in the school loop road, which is 235th maybe, something like that, so that there's a paved connection there for an alternate route in and out of the school area, and for ag to be able to get around. You can cut over the Northfield Road if you know the area and get out past Cassuth, so you don't have to go through the middle of town, that kind of thing. It was, and that's still the plan. It was brought to my superintendent's attention about a month and a half ago, roughly. So I have a superintendent that goes to DOT/contractor meetings every Tuesday about the same time we're sitting here, so that everybody's in the loop and we're in the loop on everything going on. And it was brought to his attention by somebody, I believe it was with the DOT that mentioned it, that curve wasn't designed with any super elevation, which in general for most people how they understand is banking. So when you go around a curve on any road, if you're going of any speed, they bank that outside of that curve so you can maintain a reasonable speed around the curve and be safe. Well, that paved road is a half-mile long, and it's a 55-mile-per-hour road, which I'm completely fine with. Everybody knows I'm not a huge fan of speed limits on county roads if you don't have to have them. Old 61 is 55 mile per hour once you leave Minneapolis, and we don't really plan on changing any of that at the moment. I'll work with Minneapolis on that side of things as we move forward. The curve that the consultant for the DOT put into the plans is a 35 mile per hour curve, and it's designed for urban use, which means there's no super elevation, there's no banking. And so Jeff Chase expressed some concern for the safety side of that, and it kind of got brushed off a little bit, and so I pursued it. And I think, in general, people want to keep the project moving. I say people, I'm sure contractor and some folks at the DOT, and so I kept pushing the topic and ended up in a meeting probably a couple weeks ago with some of the upper level, I guess, but with folks from the DOT that understood the situation and had looked into it, and they agreed. You know, just the wrong curve got put in, and obviously didn't get caught till this stage. And so we didn't need anything extravagant. The last thing I wanted to do was ask them to go put a full-blown 55-mile-per-hour curve in, because they would have needed right-of-way, which means they need environmental clearances. I mean, you could add a year or two, as sad as that is, to a project just over that, and that doesn't make any sense. So thank you to the DOT. They were willing to find a middle ground, and we were absolutely willing to find a middle ground. So their assistant district engineer put a little time into it, even though it still will be a consultant doing the modification to the design, and thought that they could, without moving the curve hardly at all, they thought they could do some reshaping where the actual road is shaped in and get a curve in there that's got some banking and is designed for around 45 to 50 mile per hour traffic. And that's plenty adequate in that location. You know, you can come in driving 55 and be in a 45 curve. We all do it. You just don't realize it because you drive those roads every single day. Most curves weren't meant for 55 to 60 mile per hour traffic back when they put them in. So you put up the proper signage and people are safer. And one of the reasons I pushed it that hard is that if you know that area, you know that's kind of the alternate route. So some kids will go through Mediapolis when they leave school or go to school, and some kids will go north and around and go that way. You can kind of split it up, and they all feel like they can get somewhere faster whichever way they go. And the last thing I wanted to see was a kid leaving school, probably on their phone, getting to that curve and ending up in the ditch, you know, with because they're just not paying attention. So I think long term, it's the right decision. I'm comfortable with it. And now the biggest headache with the whole thing is we are right up against winter, and that's just the random timing of the situation. So they are making the change in the design. It will require a little bit of reshaping. There's a couple ways to handle it, to be honest with you, but it'll require a little bit of something, however it is, and then they'll pave that road with that updated design layout. I think there's still a chance they could do it this year, but the likelihood is it'll bump to next spring. There's nothing cut off with that road being closed, especially when it's not agricultural season. So people can still get to school multiple ways through the middle of Mediapolis. So the long-term decision for the safety side of it was, to me, governed pretty easy in that scenario. And again, thank you to the DOT for being willing to find a middle ground and work something out that was far better, I think. So that's what's going on. I don't have Facebook, haven't seen it, but I'm told there's some comments out there that, you know, the county engineer's wasting taxpayer dollars, and which I think is ironic, because if you know me, that's the exact opposite of how I functioned. But either way, there's stuff out there. I'm not gonna go read it. I'm not gonna respond to it because I don't waste my time that way. But I thought I'd just publicly note that there was an oversight. It did not start at the county. I think it was just a consultant that somebody was working on design. They're thinking they're working in Mediapolis. They put in something, and you know, it's a half mile out of Mediapolis, give or take. So just unfortunately got found at this point. But better found at this point than after they paved it, in my opinion, because it was gonna, I felt like it was gonna be a safety concern. So either way, just wanted to mention that that's what's going on. If anybody has thoughts, concerns, I had a gentleman email me. I'm happy to give them the whole story, talk to them. That doesn't bother me in the least. I just thought I'd bring it up. Just that is, I guess, why there's a perceived delay on that particular aspect of the project. So it may not delay it at all. I'm not quite sure. It's going to depend on the weather. So, but
Thanks for sharing that, Brian.
Yep, thank you.
Moving on to discussion and vote. Accounts payable claim. Check, $212,238.86. Wire transfer, $85,099.59. for a total of $297,338.45.
Motion to approve accounts payable claims?
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Personnel action. For maintenance, we have Zarky, is that the way you
Zach.
pronounce?
Zach.
Okay, Reynolds, lead maintenance. New hire, starting rate, $34,934.41.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. This is your second, welcome aboard, this is your second day at work, huh?
Yes, sir.
What's your boss like?
So far. Right answer.
Okay, now we have Bryce Wade, full-time correctional officer. It's 77.11 hours. And anniversary, 12-month step increase. The old rate was $51,346.41. The new rate is $52,662.04. Effective date December 19th, 2025.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Sarah?
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay. Now we have the minutes of the regular meeting on November the 12th, 2025.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. Okay, now we have Tier 2 canvas results for the city school November 4th, 2025 election.
So this is just Henry County and Loiza County's results. Nothing changed the outcome of any of the races. I think there was 5 from Henry County for the Danville School Board. And there was 200 and some from Loiza for the SEC district, but there was only 1 running. So no results changed from first tier, so everything stayed the same.
Okay, we'll take care of these after the.
That's fine.
Motion to approve the second tier canvas result.
Second.
Sarah?
Tom Broker,
Yes.
Shane McCampbell,
Yes.
Jim Carrey.
Yes. You want these stamped too?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Gotta get this done right. We'll sign them afterwards. Okay. Is there any other business gentlemen?
I have none.
Committee reports.
I have none.
I had none. Time for public input. Anybody from public have anything to say? Call 319-753-8203, extension 4, or email board@dmcounty.com. Meanwhile, anybody in the audience have anything to say, we'll give you a couple minutes for that. Terry?
A couple of things, Brian mentioned that I'm easy to work with, and that's because he's easy to work with, and the crew. And they've done, so far, they've done a really good job. I might not be so easy after get to the end when there's easement to come. So,
That's understandable.
but really, they've done a great job so far and kept me informed and the other people that live in that area. Another thing about your department, that new grader operator is doing a good job.
I'm glad to hear that.
Yeah, good job. Thank you. So the other thing, the Conservation Board submitted another recommendation for setbacks. And I would ask that you all read that, consider it, and give it some thought. It's a lot less restrictive than the first one. So we would appreciate it if you would at least give that some consideration.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Can I respond to Terry?
What's that?
Can I respond to Terry?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've read it and thought about it, and, my problem is the conservation director was here for 2 productive, work sessions and discussed, recommendations, mitigation efforts and that sort of thing. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, the conservation board has a meeting, that you want to have a meeting, and you come in, you've got a map that eliminates any potential for wind development.
The
And,
first one, correct?
What?
The first one.
The first one, yeah, yeah. Anyway, so, and it was obviously designed to, prohibit wind turbines. I've seen enough of that to recognize it. So those initial recommendations weren't embraced by the Board of Supervisors. It was fairly obvious. So then the Conservation Board held another public meeting, and you submitted those revised setback requirements that appear designed to maybe produce the same result. We can't put a volunteer board in a position to prohibit wind development or anything like that. Not only have you not been elected to make that decision, it also subjects that board to outside pressure from interested parties. So I'm not in favor of putting those recommendations or in the ordinance that says that you will submit recommendations. I think there needs to be consultation, and I'm gonna ask Jared about the formulation of that language. And it's nothing personal, except it's what it looks like, and it's what it subjects you to. And I mentioned in the past, if you submit a volunteer board to outside pressure or anything like that, you don't have any volunteers pretty quickly. And that's a decision that really has to be made by elected officials, whether they're happy about making them or not. But anyway, so no, the second one was ignored. I read it the day I got it and thought, but those are my thoughts.
Can I respond, Tom?
Sure.
You're correct. That first one was thrown on you just out of the blue. It was a request for a change at that day. But there's changes every time we've had a work session by members of the committee, if I will. Those are put in at that time. Am I correct? Trent makes suggestions to change the ordinance.
If we agree to do that, we've gone through this section.
Prior to that?
Prior to that, actually, we went through part of the wind turbine not the wind turbine, the conservation. We had a meeting about that, and when we have one of those, we sort of get a consensus of the board, and they'll say, well, okay, this is how we worded this, or this is how we worded that, and we can say, that works for me, or I'd rather it said this, and we get a feel for that. Then when the whole thing is done, we will go through it all. and it'll be the final language.
The other thing is, if there's no setback to the bats and the eagles, the only consequence is they're gonna be killed. But the company that's installing these, after the fact, they can submit some money to someone and it's okay. But the way it's worded now, there's no protection for wildlife whatsoever. None.
And that's, go ahead.
And as far as putting, and I'm just speaking for myself as a board member, putting us in a position as non-elected, and if this happens, you say we tend not to give any input. If it's not lit, you're not gonna get volunteers because, well, that the public don't want the volunteers making decisions. The kind of way you're stating it.
Look, you don't want volunteers making final decisions in an
No.
ordinance like that. And I have every intention that there should be some sort of consultation. They need to go over the sensitive areas and how that's gonna be mitigated.
You bet.
But a recommendation sounds pretty formal to me. And we're talking about something that's happening right now, but in the future, the board said, we can make a recommendation, we can make a strong recommendation, we can have, I'm not comfortable with that, but I'm not trying to cut the conservation board out of the whole thing. I think there need to be mitigation efforts, whether it's setbacks, whether it's, turning turbine off and on, however, whatever they are, I'm not familiar other than the few things I've heard in this room.
Okay, thanks for your time.
Well, thank you guys for yours.
Charlie, did you have something?
Yep. Yeah. Charles Tomlinson, South Yarmouth. Windmills are going so fast, we all know that. Just a few years ago, Siemens down there were making 148-foot blades. Today, they're making 266-foot blades. And it makes sense, because the bigger you get in your diameter and the more wind you catch, it goes up exponentially. In other words, if you have a 100-foot blade and you go to a 200-foot blade, that's actually 4 times as much wind. And if you go to a 300-foot blade, it's 9 times. It's the square of it, pi r squared. So you eliminated a lot of windmills. So your idea is to get bigger and bigger windmills, but it comes at a cost. I mean, just because when your setbacks, the higher you go, the longer you have to make your setbacks. And this board appears to be stuck at 1,800 feet. Well, all the information and all of the fire damage, the blade snap, the debris fields, the ice throws, their debris field is 1,600 feet, 1,500 feet. I tell them what to look at one. And it's to make it understandable, if I were to throw a ball at ground level, it would go out so far. Take me up 100 feet, let me throw the ball. Look how far that ball goes. That's pretty easy to understand. Now put a 50-mile-an-hour wind behind me, and now look how far it goes. The tip of the 650-foot blade, it takes 6.35 seconds for that ball to hit the ground. Whereas you throw it at ground level, boom. So you can see your debris field has to go bigger. We have AES, they want 100 foot for the bats. I wanted to cry when this letter they sent to you people, 100 feet for the bats, extinct. These bats are dead. I'm sorry. If we keep things the way they are. It goes on. They want 650 feet, and they want 1,800 feet. It doesn't work like that. Like I said, all of the data that came from a 400-foot blade. In Iowa and every place else, the tallest one we have in Iowa is 557 feet, and that's one. All the rest are 440, 414. And if you use it's just logic. We can't stay at 1,800 feet. I had some more
Excuse me
information.
just a minute, Charlie, but we
And
aren't at
when the
1,800 feet.
windmill.
We're at 3 times the height. You said it needed to be proportional. We aren't at 1,800 feet, that's the minimum. We're at 3 times the turbine height.
What? You're
So
at 3
the
times.
650 would be 1,900. We're at 3 times. 1,800 is the minimum. 1,800 or 3 times the turbine height, whichever is greater.
That's still ridiculous. It's still ridiculous, Tom. You're going up so far, your debris field, it goes exponentially. Texas has the tallest windmill in the country. They have one windmill and they call it experimental. It's 653 and a half feet tall. And we're gonna bring in 650. It's a Texas A&M college in Amarillo. They don't deal with ice. They don't deal with the problems that we're gonna be dealing with. And the Texas state law is 300 feet setback from the property line of any property that borders it. That's theirs. They got the 3,000 feet. We're sticking with 1,800 feet. The solution to our problem and all the data and the safety that we're trying to make people safe with this 1,800 feet is all information from a 400-foot tall tower. So what we could do is put an ordinance that they could only go 400 feet and stay at 1,800 feet, or we can go out to 1,000 meters and go up to 650 feet. We don't have a choice. But they want to get the tall windmill, the 1,800 feet, and like I say, when they set the old ordinance, in 2 years it became prehistoric. Our old ordinance was set with all the information from 400 foot and less windmills.
Yes.
Thanks, Jim. I would just kind of echo what Terry said regarding the Conservation Board. Again, the timing of our recommendations.
Yeah, your name?
I'm sorry, Ron Helling.
Yeah. I knew who he was.
Again, the timing of our recommendations was not optimum. I apologize for that. But, the way I look at it, we both have a role. Certainly you have your role as a board of supervisors. We have our role as a conservation board. And our name is to conserve. And as Terry said, from a conservation board perspective, the turbines will do nothing but destroy what we're committed to conserve. And so I would just like to add that.
I appreciate that, Ron. Thank you. Okay.
Could I add one more thing, Jim? Where's my time up?
You got 2 minutes.
Okay,
A name?
when these fiberglass,
Say your name again.
Charles Tompkins.
Correct.
Charles
Charlie.
Yeah, Tom says, well, we'll go out there with the blade breaks off and we're gonna come out there and, we're gonna cut it up with chainsaws, we're gonna do this and that, and then we're gonna put fiberglass in the air. Fiberglass is right up there with asbestos, Tom. I think we all know that. It's non-biodegradable, it's toxic, it's a carcinogen. So if that's 650 feet and I'm 1,800 feet back comes my way, I subtract 650 feet from my 1,800 feet at my house, and is that the center of my house? Is that the backyard of my house? Where do you measure the 1,800 feet? And so anyway, I'm 1,000 feet, and I got guys out there with chainsaws, and me and my grandkids are out there playing in the yard, and here comes all this fiberglass dust, and we get it in our lungs. Can you tell me how we can get these little fibers of fiberglass out of our lungs? Does anybody come up with that?
You ever seen them take asbestos out of a building? They put a plastic kind of tarps around it and they do the sign so it's contained. It's not very hard to throw something
You won't see that. No.
Well, there are.
You'll see that in California.
OSHA does have rules.
You'll see it in California.
Well,
And then we're gonna
OSHA
take all the
has
dirt
rules.
out, and then we're gonna bring all the dirt back. You're not gonna get it all.
Rose.
Rose Fisher.
I wanna hear some good stuff about these windows.
Hey, somebody's back
Okay,
there.
I'm done.
Well, I just wanted to
comment a little bit on the recommendations, and it's almost perceived that if any recommendation is made that's going to limit wind development, that you're not gonna consider that. So just because a recommendation is made that limits the development doesn't mean that it's a bad recommendation. So you've had your other departments make recommendations. I've heard Angie talk, I've heard, Shannon. I mean, and Chris has said other things. So it's, other people have made recommendations to you, not just the Conservation Board. But so many times we hear about, you know, the property rights, and these people have a right to a turbine, and I agree. But a different standard, or whatever you call it, it doesn't mean that this guy here that wants a turbine gets everything he wants, and these people over here get just enough to make sure that this guy still gets everything he wants. That's not a great trade-off. That's not, I mean, we pay taxes just like that guy who wants a turbine. And, I mean, we get emotional and we get accused of being crazies at the courthouse, but, you know, these are our properties we're talking about. We've been out here for 30 years. It's blood, sweat, and tears and financial. It's something we've built, you know, for ourselves, our family, our future. And at a snap of the fingers, it's all gone. I mean, and it's bad enough that you don't care about us, but now you don't. I mean, we can't even have our birds anymore, or our bats. I mean, I know, Tom, you sit there and you smirk, but...
I'm smiling, I said, you say there that we don't care about you.
Well, that's what it seems like.
We've run extended meetings, we've listened to everybody's point of view, we've read the articles, the emails, watched the videos, listened to the... I've gone through that, and so is the rest of the board. If we didn't care, we wouldn't be doing that. We make the best decisions we can. I'm certainly not perfect, and I suspect the rest of the board isn't either. When we do the best we can, and we don't make decisions because we don't care about you.
It still doesn't mean that this side gets everything they want, and this side gets just enough
That's the way it looks to
to
you.
allow them to have everything.
That's the way it looks to you.
What have they been denied? What stipulations have been put on them?
We looked at the setbacks. We increased the setbacks a little bit. And I've watched the
No, I'm
information
sorry,
you bring us.
I disagree.
You know, when I've seen the maps, the danger zone, and the Facebook post that said that debris went 4 times the height of the crowd, or whatever it is.
Yes.
But as you read that, there's pictures. And the piece of debris, and it shows where all the debris landed, was a thin piece of fiberglass sheeting shaped like an X, about that by that. That is not a threat to anybody's house. It wouldn't weigh anything.
What are you gonna do with in the timber or in our yards?
I'm just saying it is not a threat to a house. It gets cleaned up, and that's if you're in town and there's a cardboard box blowing around, I've seen them go for blocks. Something that doesn't weigh anything gets picked up. I understand that. That's why I want it cleaned up quickly. I went to Mechanicsville, and the problem there was it wasn't cleaned up. They were spreading fiberglass for 1.5 years, maybe 2 years.
What about the person in the house?
How do you clean it up?
Ask.
No, if it goes in the timber or it goes in the
What about the person in the house, Tom?
What?
What about the person in the house? You said it won't destroy the house, a little piece thing. What about somebody out there?
It's not coming through the window, Charlie. It's not.
10 and 10.
Okay, this
We have
gets to be
tornadoes
too
here.
much argument.
I'm
Let's-
sorry, I
let's
responded.
talk. Let's not argue too much. You know, I will say one thing. Back in 1957, 58, 59, I was in high school. The supervisors sit up here at the same place, arguing over the gypsum plant.
Oh, gypsum plant,
Because they were selling underground rights to farmers out there.
yeah.
Put farmer against farmer. This is the same thing that's going on. But I'm telling you right now, the gypsum plant is one of the biggest employers in Des Moines County.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to say.
Did they put safety first, Tom? I mean, we're too young to remember that, but.
Well, like, I don't know, but my dad run a restaurant and I was in there.
Yeah, the only trouble I'm having.
There was farmer against farmer, the good
Yeah,
neighbors, they wouldn't
yeah,
even talk to each
yeah.
other. They wouldn't even come in there if he was sitting in there,
Yeah, I'm having trouble with this,
you
this
know,
company.
so let's all just try to get along.
Well, what I'm having trouble with, Tom, is this company has no regards for our safety. They have no regards at all for our 100 feet for our bats, 100 foot as in the letter that they sent to you. I'm having trouble with that. What,
That number is not in the ordinance.
No,
it's what?
It's not in the ordinance.
The letter that you got?
The letter, we get letters from everybody. That's a letter that says, that I think it says this is the standard from, I don't know what. We didn't copy that into our ordinance. There's no number there like that.
This is AES. Buffer as little as 100 feet along,
But that doesn't, just because they
Indiana.
put it in their letter doesn't mean it ends up in our ordinance.
they went 3 miles.
I understand that. I'm just saying it's not in the
It's a
ordinance.
tough decision, Tom.
Charlie, I apologize, I responded.
okay, everybody, this is, with an eye, we're gonna be out of here, the 2 minutes are up. Aye. Thank you. Terry, you keep us.
Well, I'm gonna go out and check out that work.
Yeah.
They're probably